the sales topic, filling your pipeline, because there are generally three possible reasons that I like to focus on as to why someone's pipeline may or may not be full. And since every day is bringing us closer to open enrollment, something that often comes up in my discussions with agents is, how do I find clients, or what lead sources are out there? So I want to go back a little bit. If you ever, any of you started out selling life insurance back in the day, and you may have to do it currently, you had to start out calling your friends and family or cold call literally out of the yellow pages in order to launch your career. Selling successfully is harder that way because it can be a grind and you can feel like you're imposing on friends and family, which can lead to discouragement. And that actually created a bit of a high percentage of failure. But that's not necessary any longer unless you want to do that. Due to technological advances, it's now far easier to acquire or attract potential clients in our business between the use of social media, internet leads, lists, emails, and even text messages. We truly have an unlimited resources in which to find potential clients. So, since it's easier than ever to prospect, what will be the reason for an empty pipeline? As I said, I'm going to get to that. So let's get into the three components that I like to focus on. And it's the best laid plans of mice and men. So number one that I see that a lot of people fall short is because they don't even have a plan. Even the most precise plan can fall short of expectations. So imagine what happens if you don't have a plan. And obviously the best time to position yourself for any upcoming event is by preparing ahead of time. And it's really funny. I always notice, and wrote a blog about this, about in this world of procrastination we live in, you will see husbands, spouses at the last minute buying flowers or a card at the card store on Valentine's Day, the night of Valentine's Day. Now, even though the date of that holiday, February 14th, has not changed since we've known about it, and we all know it's coming, but so many people don't plan in advance to relieve stress. Instead, they're hurrying up, they're buying something last minute. It probably gets them into an argument with their spouse because it seems like you really didn't put a lot of thought and effort into it. The same error in judgment is very common among salespeople. They often wait until the last minute and then they scurry to get certified, submit their appointment paperwork, or sign up with lead vendors or start to plan. So now is the time to put your leads and marketing plan in place. Things you need to formulate is, what is your budget? How much will you reinvest of your income to buy more leads, to keep that pipeline full and moving and reaching, allow you to reach your goals? How many people do you need to reach, present to, and close to meet your monetary goal? Meaning, do you have to call 20 people to speak to 5 to close 1? So what is your ratio or your ROI or your closing percentages so that you can lay out this plan to consistently close that many? And yes, it tends to be a shooting gallery, but that doesn't mean you want to lose sales in the process just because some of them come easier than others. The easy ones you don't need skills for. You don't need a plan for. It'll happen. But you want to really blow up your business and exponentially grow your bank account by really capitalizing on a plan in place for your marketing. Things even like if you're going to do a mailed piece, what date does that mailed piece need to go out so you can have it prepared? So considering all things like this and putting that plan in place right now can only increase your potential client base and, most importantly, decrease your stress level going forward. The second component, don't overreact. Now, I did a little play on words-ish kind of thing here. Do you know that when it comes to referrals, most agents don't ask for them. They wait for them to come their way. So it doesn't matter if you're building relationships online or in person. When it comes to really increasing your client base, you have to be proactive instead of reactive. Ask your referrals the same way you would ask for the sale. And I always ask people, you are asking for the sale, right? Rather than leaving it up to chance. But I'm asking this for a reason. Many agents fail at gaining referrals for the same reason they don't close as many sales as they could. They simply don't ask, or they don't make an offer. They wait for the client to say, okay, great, how do I get started? Or things like they let the client think it over, or they'll send out or leave information in hopes that that client will eventually return to them and it'll become a sale. And that often leads to frustration as well, because you start to chase a client, but hey, we spoke, or when are you going to get signed up? And you feel like you're investing your time with no return. That's why a lot of the times I promote one call closing, so that you eliminate that headache, because a lot of times when you do let a client go, they go forever. Now that's just the sales component. It's the same thing when it comes to referrals. Every agent will gladly accept when someone says, like one of their existing clients, hey, my son and wife need to get insurance too. Can I tell them to call you? Of course, we all say yes. But that is not necessarily a strategy for success, because as I said earlier, the theme of this is it is reactive, and we start to become overreactive, meaning all we do is react instead of being proactive in closing the sale, asking for the referral. And not only that, it's not a strategy for success, because only in that it's going to close sales, but it allows you to control the situation. Meaning when you're asking questions, you're guiding. Simon says, sign up. Simon says, give me your referral. People are taught to follow direction. And I had a great conversation with the owners of one of our agencies under AHCP. I'm going to be speaking at their event coming up in October. And he said he had one of his top sales guys. He basically surprised him with, hey, I need you to go up there and motivate the troops, tell them what you do for success. So the first thing this guy did was say, hey, let's have a round of applause for Don. It's his birthday. And everyone clapped and, said happy birthday and stuff. And he said, okay, so what I just did is a sales tip, because it's not Don's birthday, but you did what I told you to do. That's how you close sales. You tell people what to do. Now, not in that crazy manner, but you lead the witness. You lead the client down to making a decision. You lead the client to giving you a referral. So you also have to have a plan in place and scripted within your presentation or in your follow-up emails or in your thank you card, a plan in place to get referrals, because that's a largely untapped portion, cost-free lead, meaning you've already paid for your lead costs on the initial client. Now your referral is basically all gravy, as they say. So think about that as we're going forward towards open enrollment, is how much time will you invest in gaining referrals, asking. Of course, you have to do the right job to earn them. And also, how will you thank your clients who send you referrals? I've done a whole session on that if you want to look it up in our archives, but I've been doing it for several years, in that you can send them out a thank you gift card or a magazine subscription, so that they see your name every month, or at least they think of you every month when they get that magazine subscription. And when you give people something for doing something for you, they will do more for you. So it allows you, again, to keep growing that pipeline. However, of course, again, it is reactive. You have to plant those seeds, ask for the referral, and then do the right thing by that client, and they will keep coming and growing. The final component, before there's a little bonus side tip, is ruthless self-promotion. I remember when I was starting out in the music business, there was a book, it might have been called this, Ruthless Self-Promotion, but it was like guerrilla promotion, something like how you had to really go out there and promote yourself. So I often ask agents, are you telling everyone that you encounter right now what you do for a living and how you might be able to help them with this upcoming open enrollment? Also, have you handed out your business cards like they're candy, meaning it's really cheap enough to print out cards and start handing them out to anyone you meet, because they're going to need you potentially coming up in a couple of months. I think it's 60 days or less. So you need to be doing that. And a lot of people feel hesitant because there is a bit of a stigma with salespeople in general, and then insurance salespeople. But there are so many ways that you can promote yourself. And I don't mean like annoying, like the guy Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day, who you may know, who was just this comedic life insurance sales guy. But you do have to promote your business to anyone who might be a potential client. And in the insurance field, obviously, that's many, many people. So the more consumers that know you're an expert and see you as a valuable resource, the better. Because a great quote I heard a couple of years ago is, when there's confusion in the marketplace, and there is with the ACA, people will seek out experts. But that's only if they know who you are, what you do, and how to get in touch with you. So if you do this to the extent necessary, you will start to, again, keep this pipeline full. Because if you use internet leads, there could be a slow day. It happens. They've sold some to a higher bidder, whatever happens. You don't want that to derail your monetary goals and how much clients you have to work with. So when you start to combine these three components about the planning and being more reactive and promoting yourself, because this is your business, the more you will have a list of qualified clients that you can follow up with, cross-sell, rewrite in the future, but you need to earn their business now so that you can keep their business in the future. And then one of the other ways to do that is obviously following up. You absolutely need to follow up, which is the bonus tip. How effective is your follow-up process currently? Are you continuously touching your customers after narrowing down your list of potentially qualified clients, meaning you've weeded out the people who can't afford this or said flat out no, hung up on you? You might send them a drip email to touch them. But when you start to narrow down the qualified potential clients, those are the ones you need to keep working on and following up with something like an automated email, which Wednesday sales training, we're going to be covering the tools for technology that you could use in telesales and face-to-face. Some of them apply as well. So that's the bonus question here, is how effective is your follow-up? What is it? I've done a whole session on the process that you can go again back into our archives and hopefully find. If not, you can shoot me out an email and I can talk to you about that, and maybe we'll resurface it in the future. But for me, with this busiest season quickly approaching, in order to handle the supply of customers who need your help, you have to have an entire plan in place. So my final question will be, what's your plan? Great quote from Zig Ziglar to end the session. The top salesperson in the organization probably missed more sales than 90% of the salespeople on the team, but they also made more calls than the others made. And I want to add a little tidbit here. The days that I wrote the most sales, and any agent can attest to this, are the same days I made the least amount of phone calls, because I was talking to clients, writing the business, submitting the policies, all of that stuff. So it's the days that you're not talking to people where you do have to invest and make those phone calls. But this is also true. You make more phone calls, you reach more people. You reach more people, you get to present to more people. You get to present to more, you will absolutely close more.